Okay, so let's finalize this object by adding one more detail that's going to make this thing look finished and real nice. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my outliner real quick. I just want to show you something. I'm going to bring out the rebar that we saw as an example when we first did this scene. If you remember this is from the original wall. Remember this wall? It has this rebar in between. We're going to build the same rebar but for our ZBrush sculpted wall, which is going to look fantastic. So let me take this stuff and we're going to hide this stuff, get it out of the way. We're going to build some rebar for this guy, and when we get the rebar in with the normal map and everything, it's going to look fantastic. Okay, so rebar. How can we do the rebar? Well, first thing you need is you need a polygon cylinder, and obviously 20 subdivisions is too much for a game. You want to knock that down to maybe 6, since this is an object that the player walks up to. I'm going to go ahead and say 6. For radius, I want something pretty small, so about 0.075 looks good. Obviously, it can't be too thick. So let me go to the top view here, go to wireframe real quick. I want to place this in the middle there, and I'll show you why in a second. This rebar is going to go inside. It's going to go inside the wall like this. Okay, so it's going to be kind of sticking out, exposed or whatnot. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a quick technique, and it's very similar to a technique that we've already seen actually in this training product much earlier before. I want to take these faces that are right here, the ones in the top, and what I'll do is I'm going to go to a front view. I'm going to use the EP curve tool. Let me go to the create menu, EP curve. I'm going to make a curve in the middle like this. I'm just going to make this thing kind of go up like this, and you can design your curve however you want. We'll go with something like that, or whatever works. And I'm going to go back to the perspective view here. I'm going to take the pivot point from that, center it, and then I'm going to move this over so it's right on top of the cylinder, right where I want it. I'm going to go back to face mode here, take the top faces, select the curve, go to extrude face. Let me go to the options here, make sure to reset. I'm going to hit extrude, and then I'm going to go to the subdivisions and increase it to as many as I need to get this to look good. Something like this looks pretty good for a game. Of course, you can increase it if you have the polygon budget for it. And that's pretty much it. You go to object mode. I can then take this guy here and I can stick it in a wall or something like this. Okay. And the cool thing is that I can take the curve, because there's modeling history. I can take the curve and I can modify it. So if I think that it's maybe bent a little bit too much, I can maybe rotate it, do something more subtle like that, and then I could take this, duplicate it, stick it somewhere like that. I can make another duplicate. I can rotate this a bit, stick it in the wall, make it look like it's very natural, make it look like this thing's been damaged and stuff. Let me take modeling history here. I can maybe damage this a little bit like that. I can take this guy, make a copy, maybe stick it in here like this so it looks like it's really damaged. So I think you kind of get the idea. Use this curve to really control what it is that you're making here, and pretty much create yourself different variations of these sort of little poles here, these rebar poles that we can then take and place around the object like this and around the edges. There's no right way or wrong way of doing this. Just go ahead and use the technique to get this rebar around the object and make it look natural. Play around with it, have some fun with it. Also, don't forget that a lot of these objects have the end caps of polygons, so basically these faces on the ends. So you obviously don't want to delete the faces that are on the ends over here like these, but you do want to delete the faces that are inside, on the inside like these, that are never visible. So optimize the mesh, delete any of the faces that are inside the mesh that we're never going to see, because really they're a waste of triangles. And with games, you're trying to squeeze out as much performance as you possibly can. So work on that on your own. I think you get the idea of the technique. It's very simple. It's just kind of a rinse and repeat process. Use the technique, create a unique piece of rebar, make it look damaged, dented, broken, bent, all kinds of stuff, and then duplicate it and stick it all around the object. It really is that simple. And when you're done, you should end up with something pretty interesting. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to get that done on my end, and I'll meet you when I'm finished. Okay, so I got that done. You should have something that looks similar to this when you're finished. Obviously not the exact same thing, but I went in and basically just, took some artistic freedom, took some of these, placed them all around the wall here, just made it look natural, what I thought looked pretty good, and then I merged all the little poles together to make one object. Obviously you want to keep this stuff as one because the Unity game engine prefers that for optimization reasons. You want to keep all these little bars as one object. You do not want to make sure that each bar is separate, because if they're all separate objects, it means more draw calls inside the Unity engine, and that hurts performance. Okay, so finally, I'll go to Viewport 2.0. Check this out. Looks really, really cool, as you can see with the normal map and everything, and the rebar sticking out of there. Really looks like something that happened here in the past, maybe an explosion a really long time ago, and this stuff has gotten weathered by rain and wind and stuff like that. It looks really cool. So there you go. I'm just going to go ahead and end this video here, and in the next set of videos we're going to talk about data asset exchange.